Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be going step by step on exactly how I was able to scale one of the trading offers, which I'm working with right now, from approximately $20,000 to $30,000 a month to $103,000 a month in only 60 days. And we're really going to be going step by step in this video. I've gone very deep on each step, all the way from how we're getting traffic, all of the systems that we're using for traffic, how we're then generating interested leads out of this traffic, all of the pages we're using, the strategies behind it, and finally, our killer backend process as well as sales team frameworks. So without further ado, let's jump straight into this video. Now, before I actually tell you what we are doing, I kind of want to speak a little bit more about what we're not doing and a mistake that I see so many people making. So what we're not doing is a $47 per month community, right? Non-school, non-WAP, and not some kind of online course. This only works once you have, I'd probably say, 2 million followers, right? You need 2 million followers to post something like this off. Otherwise, you're a lot better off just selling a high ticket coaching program or absolutely maxing out your niche and then going down to a mid ticket, absolutely maxing out the mid ticket and then moving to a low ticket. But I'm not going to kind of bore you with this. I actually want to tell you what we are doing. So right now, what we're focusing on is selling high ticket offers where we're having our clients pay us $3,000, 3,000 again, 3,000 again. We got a payment plan here, payment plan on a credit card, and $3,000 again, right? Stuff like this, like you really want to focus on selling high ticket offers, and this is what this strategy is about. But obviously, more money takes more convincing. So that's pretty much just what I'm going to be breaking down in this video. And just a little bit of a disclaimer here, we've only recently started working with Dovey, which is our client. So the $103,000 a month in April is, absolutely nowhere near the potential this offer has. And you can definitely be expecting a much bigger case study out of this guy in just a few months. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the first step of actually getting the traffic. But before we get into that, if you're either an existing coach or an aspiring coach, creator, or influencer with 0 to 200,000 followers, I can help you build or scale your coaching business to $50,000 to $100,000 per month and beyond. And this is done on a completely done for you basis. So if you are interested, you can click the first link below for more info. And it's just a quick little page, and it's kind of going to go over what I can help you with to actually get you to the $50,000 to $100,000 per month, phase in your business. So in terms of actually getting traffic, we're keeping it very simple. Just the main social media platforms, as you can see here, we're using Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. So keeping it very simple, but we are expanding to a few other social media platforms soon, like X, and also doing paid ads end of this month or early next month. So in terms of Instagram, I wouldn't say this is the biggest needle mover. Based on the metrics that we've been tracking, most of the leads are coming from YouTube, but Instagram was definitely a big part, especially in the DMs. So I want to go over this first. Now, we don't have any side accounts, we don't have any clipping accounts yet. We're building those soon, but we have one main account right here, and it's going around 200,000 followers. It's something that I kind of want to say real quick to preface is very large Indian following, very large African following, very large third world country following, but this is just naturally something that you're going to see with more lifestyle content, which is something that we're doing with this creator right here. And in terms of the description itself, keeping it very simple again, like nearly a decade trading the markets. So just kind of letting them know that, hey, like we're running a trading offer right here, or trading is what I do. Then yes, I have a verified track record, kind of just going over that testimonial case study, if you will, and check out my free course, which is the CTA. And then it goes to this, which is an opt-in. We're using an opt-in just because, and even not just phrasing the opt-in as kind of like a free training, but an actual free course and community, just because it makes most sense based on our market research and how broad the audience is and how broad the content is. But we're going to be going a little bit deeper into the actual funnel itself later on in the video. And in terms of the actual content itself, like I wouldn't say he's the most consistent with content. We're trying to get more consistent with content soon, but again, like pretty good numbers. Again, like not high quality people watching them, but good numbers, decent numbers. He's posting maybe once every, 1 or 2 weeks. So it's not that consistent. And usually, a lot of them are lifestyle, but every once in a while we have a talking head video, which is him kind of just speaking. That's DM or the CTA at the end of the video is keyword. And then obviously, this is one of those educational videos, right? And then when you move over to his bio, it's pretty similar. So number one, we have a lately. This is kind of humanizing the page. We're not doing too much selling here, kind of just humanizing the page, lifestyle stuff right here. But the main thing that I want to talk about is this right here. It might not look like a call to action, but it really is. So it says 25K to 200K, and it's a challenge which builds proof or trust or however you kind of want to put it, right? And right now, you've probably seen this before. Someone's probably told you this before, but we're in a trust recession, and trust is at an all-time low. So especially in the lifestyle space, we're noticing an influx of people or people just thinking or noticing, or even just a lot of examples of these kinds of people becoming scammers, right? Like these lifestyle people selling coaching or courses, and they're kind of just getting framed as scammers, right? And this is a very big part of our IG conversion process because we're kind of just telling them, like, we actually do this, and there's just undeniable trust here where they can't be like, no, like this can't be, like, you're lying, you're scamming, whatever. It's undeniable proof right here, right? So that's kind of just a little bit of a preface, kind of just to give you a little bit of context on the content itself. But now I kind of want to move over to our initial launch. So in terms of the initial launch, like, we really didn't do much at all. Like, I think we were barely scraping $10,000 on the launch, to be honest with you, because the previous guys who were working with him were pretty much relaunching a new product every single month. And, obviously that completely killed the audience. It made them a lot colder, but we still wanted to kind of build a little bit of momentum, get the sales team, a little bit more used to the kind of leads that they're going to be dealing with. So that was kind of the main reasoning behind our launch. But this entire funnel is a little bit more evergreen and not more so like launch every 2 weeks, relaunch, shoving it down their throats. It's more evergreen. Like, they can kind of go there if they want to. Obviously, we're still doing weekly call to actions, but we're not shoving it down their throat. We're doing a little bit more of a long-term play here. But yeah, in terms of the actual initial launch, it was very simple. Initial launch, day one story post. This wasn't a story sequence. It was just lifestyle, hyping up the story viewers again. So we did that for around 6 days, as you can see here. Day three, day four, actually it was just 4 days. But just simple stuff, really, like him going to the gym, him posting profitable trades, no CTAs here, by the way, like zero CTAs, like within this entire 4 day time span, not a single CTA. And only from day six, we started with the CTAs. So day six, IG launch sequence, right? This was just a story sequence that we posted. I'm going to get into IG story sequences later in this video. Day seven, we just had an IG reel for lead accumulation. Looked a little bit similar to this, right? Just like with the DM CTA. And then again, same thing, day eight, IG reel for lead accumulation. And same thing on day nine, IG reel for lead accumulation. And obviously, all of this just gave us, a ton of lead flow that we could work with and actually do something with. So obviously, all of that got pushed to the sales team, and I'm going to be going a little bit deeper on this later on in the video. But what were the actual frameworks that we were using to pull this off and to actually make this successful? Well, there were a few things. So in terms of the actual story sequences, you can kind of think about them similar to an Instagram reel, right? How is an Instagram reel, structured? First, you have the hook, goes into the story of the video itself, shows proof that, what they're talking about actually happened, or that they've actually done what they're talking about. And then usually you have a CTA. This isn't mandatory, but we're changing up with these story sequences. So we have a hook, right? Kind of just hooking them in. For example, big announcement, and then, imagine this is the text. So here, this is the text, and then there's like a big arrow going like this, and then they know like they need to go into the next story. Then you're talking about the story itself. So you're kind of just hyping it up. Like, right now, we're taking on I'm taking on 3 people for my one-to-one mentorship. In this mentorship, I'm teaching you XYZ in X time frame. Alex Hormozy's $100 million offer framework right there, and kind of just giving them a little bit more info about it. But you don't want to shove it down their throat. Still keep it pretty natural. Then show proof, which would kind of just be like the student results that you've been having inside of the community. And then the thing that you're always going to have with story sequences is a CTA. So there's always going to be a CTA with story sequences. You're not doing all of this up. You're not hyping the mentorship up without, doing a CTA at the end, because they don't really care about this CTA at the end. Like, they kind of know they're being sold to, but sometimes they know they're being sold to, but they don't want to tell themselves that, right? So that's a big thing. But again, don't spam these. They're kind of like cash printers. So like if you're having a bad month and you want to pull the numbers up, end of month, you can do one of these. But the main thing is like they're gonna work really well. But if you overuse them, they're not gonna work at all, right? Your audience is gonna get burnt out. They're not gonna like them anymore, or they're not gonna like them anymore. You're just gonna milk the audience, right? You don't want to do that. They're gonna always feel like, yo, like every time I'm clicking on this guy's story, like I'm getting sold to. And a lot of people just don't like that. And again, like specifically designed for the CTA, the next step, not just to give value. And an example for CTA would be DM word. If you have a specific word, click the link. I don't recommend this because obviously Instagram's business model is to keep people on the Instagram app. So obviously, like they don't like when people click off the app and then they're going to make your story views go down. So this is the best one right here. Or watch VSL. So this could be a mini VSL on the next slide. And you can say link in bio. But even with link in bio, you need to put sorry. With bio, the way you spell bio is like this. And then instead of this being an O, so let me just rub this out. It needs to be like a 0 because Instagram still doesn't like the word bio. Because obviously like that still takes them off the app, right? When they click on the link in your bio. So that's just one of the things you need to be careful with. And then in terms of the reels, again, like they're not just to give value, but they're actually to get the viewers to take the next step. Obviously not all of the reels, but just when you're launching up, like 3-4 reels right here, when you're launching up, use the strategy right here, spam the CTAs. But otherwise, when you're just posting reels, just, to kind of keep the audience sweet, you want to have 2 random, you just kind of picking up the camera, 1 case study, and 7 value with a small CTA to comment a certain word below to get a lead magnet. And again, examples, DM word, click the link, watch the VSL. I already went over the rules with these 2. Cool. So that's the entire IG strategy. Pretty simple, keeping it simple. Don't want to overcomplicate anything here yet, as we have pretty decent lead flow, and we just don't want to overcomplicate it. Now, here is the biggest needle mover for this offer. It was actually YouTube. So on YouTube, it's pretty simple. He's been growing pretty fast, 25,000 subscribers, yet a lot less like 1 or 2 months ago. So that's another big thing. His, YouTube did grow, but it also is very top of funnel, right? So this is kind of mainly just to get eyeballs. Like if you look at this, like this is why getting rich young hits different. POV, an average Thursday with your friends on a yacht. I partied with Andrew Tate making 50K in 1 week. Like these are very good, right? Like they don't say anything about trading, right? So it doesn't matter if you're doing, let's say, ecom, SMMA, you can kind of tie this in with drop shipping. So let me just say like DP, I don't know, investing, not actual like day trading, just like actual like investing, and etc. Like really doesn't matter what you're doing. Like these are gonna appeal to you because they're just like make money on live videos, but there's no actual like there's no density in them. Like they don't say anything about trading. Yes, he might speak about trading like midway through the video, but that's pretty much it. So these are really just to get people to click on the videos and get them into our ecosystem, and then they get pushed down to the middle of funnel videos. Now these are very rare on this channel. We're trying to get Dovey to do a little bit more of these, but they're just to get eyeballs for not his mentorship, but for people learning about trading. So, for example, can I make money trading on a surfboard? And obviously, like 6.7K views compared to the next video, 33K views, the next video, 45K views. Like, it's a very big drop. But again, like, you're always going to notice the drop. So, let's say T, M, and then bottom of funnel, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. This is always going to be like 5 times as many views, and then this might get 2 times as many views, and this is going to be like 1 times as many views. However, here with these 2 videos, we did get very lucky. I'm very good with this real and authentic style, so I perfectly helped Dovey create these videos, went very deep in them. I know they look very simple, but there was a lot that went behind them, and they did very well for bottom of funnel videos. So we only had 2 of these, but they just get people interested in trading itself. The people that already have gotten into the ecosystem, learn what trading is, maybe learn a specific strategy, and now they're like, like this, they're thinking like, like this might actually work. Let me try this out. Let me join this guy's mentorship. And that's kind of the thinking behind it, right? So this one, 13K views. This one did very well as well with 15K views, but I would not be relying on these videos. You kind of just want to have a mix of everything, unless you have a second channel, maybe a channel similar to mine. I keep it very small. I do between $30,000 and $40,000 a month in profit with like, 2,500 subscribers. So it's very small. But it just kind of depends on what you're going for, right? But what I'm also seeing a lot of people do, and what we're also implementing for Dovey, is we have this channel right here. We're kind of mixing it, and then we have a second channel, which is going to be very small, and it's only going to have, bottom of funnel content, and it's going to be very lean, very small, but a very specific audience, right? And this is a very eyeball orientated YouTube channel. And we're, like I said, like we're moving to a bottom of funnel content channel, not to kind of fluctuate views and confuse viewers. And I'm kind of just going to break that down for you as well. So building a micro niche YouTube channel on the back end kind of looks like this, right? I'll give you a few examples. Obviously, all of you guys know Iman Gaji, like the biggest info guy. Maybe a lot of you guys got into business to begin with because of this guy. And he has one of these channels, as you can see here, 41,000 subscribers. I remember it was like between 10 and 20,000 before this video blew up. So he had this video about WAP, absolutely blew up, right? 250,000 subscribers. But from my understanding, he was trying to keep it very lean, not going for views, very specific titles, appealing to a very specific audience, right? People who want to actually, build a personal brand, right? And then another channel that I want to show you is Definer. Maybe some of you guys know him. He's like a Road to Bugatti series, and he has a main channel that gets a ton of views, but he also has this channel here, which is very specific, right? So for example, this video got 10K views, which is absolutely insane for a bottom of funnel video, but he's going specific, right? Like this one thing took me to 100K a day in ecom, and it's simpler than you think, right? Like you can think of this how other, obviously you see like it's a nice car, and like it still might look like lifestyle to you maybe, but as you can tell, like he's being a lot more specific, and only people doing ecom drop shipping would click on this, and literally anyone could click on a POV, an average first day night with your rich friends on a yacht, right? Like this literally appeals to anyone. So that's kind of the reasoning behind it. Again, like getting hyper targeted with your ICP just because the YouTube algorithm is so good. But obviously, we're still going to need a boost of initial traffic to get the channel off the ground. So here's what you can do. If you have an existing IG and YouTube audience and you want to build a micro niche YouTube channel, what you're going to do and what we're going to do to transition Dovey into, obviously still having both channels, but also having the bottom of funnel channel is, next time we post a video for the next 2 or 3 videos, we're going to have this right here. So right here, we're pretty much just going to be saying like, first off, I'm going to break down this description structure right here just a little bit later. But what we're going to be adding here, obviously we have the CTAs up here, but down here, we're just going to say my new YouTube channel where I go in depth on trading. And then we're going to have the link to the YouTube channel to build some initial traffic. And then here, it's going to be very simple. There's going to be a story. So this isn't real. I know it's the same reel as before, but it's just going to be a story of him talking, pretty much saying, I have a new YouTube channel. We're going to have the link right here, breaking our rule, but it's allowed with other social media channels. It's just something that I've been noticing a lot of people do. And, let's say you usually get 10,000 views on a story, 3,000 or 3,000 to 5,000 views is a lot better than 0, right? And then 5 days later, or just a few days later, first video on your channel is live. You're going to have, the title of the new video. You're going to have the thumbnail right here, and then watch here button with, them clicking on, them getting live onto the video. Don't do a premiere. Don't do a scheduled video. Just literally post it, let the algorithm do its thing, and you're pretty much going to be all good. And in terms of the actual description itself, very simple. As you guys can see, we're pushing very broad content, so we can't go straight to a VSL. We can't build all too much friction, but, get my free course and community. which is the hidden edge. He keeps talking about the hidden edge, which is why we have it in brackets. Usually you don't want to have the name of your program in brackets, but only because he brings it up so much, we have that. And then it goes onto this opt-in page, which I'm going to be breaking down later in this video. Have any questions, DM me on Instagram. It has its Instagram handle right here. For all the people who aren't ready to get into his mentorship, they're going to be further getting nurtured on Instagram through the story sequences, through the reels, and then eventually, they might swipe up on one of the story sequences. They might DM him, the certain keyword which he's been pushing for weeks on Instagram. Then, obviously we have our, all of our affiliate codes. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. And then he was getting some warnings on YouTube, so he had to add this right here. He's pretty much saying like, this isn't, this is only for, educational purposes only and entertainment purposes. This isn't too interesting. It's just like some legal stuff that he had to put in there. You don't need to put this, but he just got a display. He got a warning. That's why we have this here, but it's not mandatory. So yeah, that's pretty much the description. Very simple stuff. And now the last social media channel that I want to talk about is TikTok. So on TikTok, we're keeping it very simple, but I kind of want to break down the strategy again here. Again, very large follower account, but very bad audience, right? Like Indians, Africans, third world country people, just not the best if you actually, want to scale high ticket off. These are more like people who buy mid ticket to low ticket, right? But again, with top of funnel, here are examples, these ones blew up. Top of funnel videos usually blow up if done right. This is why they're pinned, to kind of show authority with high view counts. But for example, here, lifestyle gets views, not many conversions, get views, not many conversion, and gets views, but not many conversions. And then we have here, middle of funnel / bottom of funnel is the other types of videos that he posts on this channel right here. And whether it's middle of funnel or bottom of funnel really just depends on the topic. But for example, here, our main, conversion mechanism is this. This is our main conversion mechanism. And this is our main conversion mechanism again. Not too sure I actually put this in 3 times here. But yeah, like I said, like these videos, they barely get conversions. They're really just to get people inside of our ecosystem. They're in the ecosystem. They go into his page, start scrolling through other videos. They go in this video. Oh, this seems interested. This seems interested. Okay, let me go and get his free course in Community by the time they're on this video, right? So these are really to get people in. These are to convert, right? And we currently don't have any tracked conversions from TikTok. So short form content schedule is very slow. Like I said, like he's posting maybe once every 1 to 2 weeks, but we're planning on ramping this up soon. Not too sure about the TikTok audience though. We definitely have a few conversions from Instagram. I know we have quite a few. The main one's YouTube, but we're trying to ramp this up again because, we're just barely posting here to begin with. Now, just in between, if you're still watching this, and again, like if you're either an existing or aspiring coach, creator, or influencer who wants to build up a high ticket coaching program between 0 to 200K followers, and you think that the systems that I've showed you so far can help you get to 50 to 100K a month and beyond, watch my explainer video. First link in the description right here. I kind of just break down my system and how I can help you do it, right? Now, moving on to the next step of actually generating interested leads, right? Now, leads generated through lead magnets. Obviously we have a lead magnet, which I'm going to break down in just a second here. But pretty much, we're heavily utilizing email lists because obviously it's an opt-in. We're asking for name, email address, and phone number. So they're getting the initial opt-in email where they're getting the resource from the lead magnet. And then when we were doing the launch, we started hyping up the launch with valuable emails to build trust, started hyping up the launch with valuable emails to trust. And we just kept doing that for 3 days. And then after that, we had daily emails pushing the launch with CTAs and proof. We were, I wouldn't say cold calling leads. I don't know why I called it cold calling. It really is just dialing because they're already in your ecosystem. But again, we kept doing this for 4 days. So day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And then we were dialing all of the leads on our list. So we were really being lead efficient here, right? And then in terms of the Instagram, like I showed you guys before, initial story, day 1 story post, day 2 story post, day 3 story post, day 4 story post. And then we had the 4-day actual, push for the content. I did break down the strategy for the story posts and the reels before, and then we would push all of these leads into a type form, qualify the leads. We had to disqualify a lot of them because, like I said, like a lot of third world country people, and then we would get them into a sales process, which I'm gonna get into in just a second. But right here, a very important thing is I actually want to show you guys this page, which I've been speaking about, forever now. So it's very simple. For people trying to replace their 9 to 5, get access to Dovi's free coursing community, usually $97 a month. Now it's free, right? And now there's two CTAs that they can click on. Either they click on this video right here, where they see this play button, or click here for free access, right? Now either ones that they click on, they're going to get onto this opt-in. Access my free community and course that's helping 9 to 5ers make 8 to 20K a month from anywhere. No degree, no experience, just a proven system. And then, you have first name, email address, phone number. This isn't my phone number. This isn't my email address. I just made this up. If you want to call this phone number or, email this email address to make sure, like you can if you want to. And then here we have click to sign up. And then once they do that and all of the information is correct, they go on to the next page. If the information is wrong, it's going to put a red thing or a red line around the box, and they're going to have to redo it, right? They're going to re-put their email address if they put a wrong one, or if it doesn't work, or they're going to have to put a new phone number if they're just trying to put a fake phone number to just get to the next page, right? Then on the next page, on the very top of the page, we've sent you access via email. Link expires in 15 minutes, right? And then the rest of the page just looks like this. It's a very standard VSL page. We're keeping it very simple. The leads are they're not expecting to get sold to you, so we're keeping it very simple. Very, very simple. So we just have the logo right here. Like I said, like we speak a lot about the hidden edge. He has caps of the hidden edge. He has t-shirts of the hidden edge. He says, my students inside the hidden edge. So we want to make sure that they know that this is the hidden edge. And then in this free training, discover how average 9 to 5ers are using the hidden edge strategy to quit their 9 to 5 and earn 8 to 20K per month without blowing their funded accounts. Watch free training. We have VTab right here to pretty much, increase the amount of people who click on the video. So your video's already started, click to listen. They watch through the VSL. I'm not going to break down the entire VSL structure, but you can go on this page and find it if you want to. Very simple VSL, very case study orientated. Apply here, and then I have a few results here. So real students, real results. And then a pretty cool thing that I did here is, for example, here, Farhan is making $4,000 a month consistently using his edge. So we're going very branded. Obviously the name of the company is the Hidden Edge. So, we're saying here using his edge, right? Then we just have the videos right here. Pretty simple. One thing that we can improve is actually removing these blind spots right here. That's just the way that they're recorded. When they actually click on the video, it fills the screen. Same thing here. Yugi became profitable after years once he learned his edge. Video, testimonial video, and that's pretty much it. So keeping it very simple. One more thing, maybe adding a CT at the bottom. It's one thing that we can do, but nothing major. We just kind of added this. Actually, just added this yesterday. So we're keeping it very simple here. Before that, it was even simpler. So we had it dead simple at the beginning, and then we're like, okay, maybe we should add some testimonials. But this also is a very new coaching program. So he literally very recently filmed these testimonials right here. And then once they click on the apply here button, they get onto the second page, apply for your one-on-one call with one of Dovi's students to learn how you can implement the hidden edge strategy and start earning 8 to 20K per month. Then we go into Typeform, very simple Typeform. Again, the hidden edge branding up here as well, and then apply to work with Dovi one-on-one. Answer truthfully, we deny 80% of applications. Takes 30 seconds, start. Right now, what are the questions that we're asking here? We're keeping it very simple. So, again, consistent hit the hidden edge branding. I like building very branded coaching programs. And then which one of these best describes your trading experience? This question is required. Aspiring trader, already trading 0 to 5K a month, and then already trading 5 to 10K a month. USD. What do you do for a living? This question is required. Then what's your biggest challenge with trading right now? Lack of experience, psychology, bad risk management, over trading. And only here we ask for their actual contact information, right? And here another good thing is that we get to see what country they're from. So it also immediately disqualifies countries like India, just because, not that there's anything wrong with them, but just because, they usually just don't have the funds to afford this program, because this coaching program does range from $3,000 to $7,000, right? So just our closing rate, just tanks when we start taking those calls. But the main thing is here, like people don't like giving their information up front. But once they go through these questions, they're like, okay, well, this guy, he actually cares. Like, there's actually something that I'm applying here for. Then they go here. If you just ask for it up front, it's just too much stuff. It's too much fiction. They don't want to get into it. And then the last question, which is the qualifying question, what total budget do you have access to in the next month to invest in yourself? On a 500, 500 to 1, 1's due, 2 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 10, and 10 plus. 10K plus. Click OK, and that's the final question. I know that this is pretty direct, but we had to get direct with questioning. I know people like to ask us a little bit softer, but we really just had to because we had so many people who just weren't qualified booking calls. So we kind of just had to get straight to the point with the way that we were asking it. And then if they qualified, obviously we were disqualifying people who didn't have the funds to invest, were from a country where they don't earn as much money. They would get disqualified, and then they would go onto a downsell page. And if not, they would go to the one-on-one mentoring page. So the hidden edge branding right here. Schedule your one-on-one call with one of the students below to learn how you can implement the hidden edge strategy to start earning 8 to 20K per month. Then we have the calendar open. Here we kind of speak about who this is for and what they're getting on their call. And then at the very bottom, we're also speaking about if there's no times in the calendar to message on Instagram, and then we have a link to the Instagram account, then we're only open 3 days into the future because this is how we keep the show rate high. For example, if we have the entire month open and I don't know, someone starts going through the calendar and they book for like the 29th, the chances of them just missing that call is so high. So, we're keeping it very simple. But again, like at the time where I took the screenshot, we didn't have enough closes. Now, obviously, we have enough closes. The calendar has a lot more space, but at the time, we were getting booked out very fast. And then here, there's no actual questions in the calendar or a very simple question. So, first name, last name, phone number, email address, confirm that you're going to show up to the call, schedule meeting. We weren't triaging these people because they already went through the type form, and they could only get to this page if they already qualified through this qualifying question right here. Right. Then finally, and by the way, you don't see this thing. This is only because I was doing a Loom video while I took the screenshot because I was building an SOP. But yeah, congrats, you're booked in. Important, complete these 3 steps now. If you don't, we'll be forced to cancel your call and give you a slot to someone else. Step 1, confirm call. By the way, this is the confirmation cage. And another thing is that we're currently restructuring this. So this is a very, very simple confirmation page, right? Confirm the call by replying yes to our text or email and selecting yes in the email calendar invitation. Search for search in your inbox the hidden edge. Click add to calendar. Yes for the calendar invitation, right? And then we're pretty much just telling them how to do it, and then finish watching and explain the video only if you haven't, right? But now we're actually installing a video just specifically for people. And by the way, explaining the video, this is the VSL, but we did launch this offer pretty fast. So now we're doing a specific video for the pre-call page. We're doing specific, pre-call videos. Like if you're interested in this, if you've seen this video that's come out and, it says 1 month ago, this video, text me on Instagram and, I'll send you a quick video of what we're doing right now, right? But that's pretty much everything on the generating interested leads part. And then we move on to the final step of the process, which is actually converting interested leads. Now, like I said, we have a killer backend process. Now, first off, in terms of the actual, weekly group meetings that we have with the team to keep everyone connected. I know a lot of people do I've seen up to 1 per day. I've seen 2 times a week, but at the end of the day, like the team's busy. They kind of get sick of you at some point, right? So we only have 1 marketing meeting per week. Obviously, the marketing team internally speak a lot more with each other over chats, voice messages, etc., but only 1 actual call per week. If there's something urgent, we'll do more than that. But this is just a 1,001, and then 1 sales meeting per week because I have my sales manager doing daily meetings with the closers, appointment setters, and dialers, right? So they're all dialed in. It doesn't really make sense to have a daily meeting. Also for the creator, like they don't want to be getting on the meeting every single day. And then I actually want to show you the infrastructure that we have inside of our Discord server. You can also do this over Slack, but I just like Discord because I'm kind of just used to it at this point. So for example, here we have our payments channel. We have failed payments for payments that don't go through so that the appointment setters and dialers can reach out to them, or even the closers. And then we have deal info. This is just for our tracking sheets. The most important thing is here, this is with an automation. So for example, this is just what my agency's called. and then it's just a support bot, but really this is linked to fan bases. So for example, Cha-ching, like you just received a payment of $1,000 from, Manuel Peter, it says here, right? You probably can't do too much with that name. There's probably so many Manuel Peters. But again, like Cha-ching, you received the payment 1K, you received the payment 997, right? And this is a connected automation. Same thing for the failed payments, and then deal info is actually a type form which the sales team fills out so that we know how to pay them comms, which is short for commission. But obviously we're going to be double checking that at the end of the month, just so we have the ballpark, keeping it simple. Then in terms of sales team, what are the actual automations that they have to work with? We have a call updates channel, a calls book channel. This is automation, no shows channel automation, and cancelled calls automation. And then we have live transfer calls. So for example, call updates. This is a form that they fill out after every single sales call. Lead name, email, status close. But sometimes they go a lot deeper on why they closed, why they didn't close inside of the actual notes of the call, right? Then we have a new call booked. Obviously, this is all inside of the CRM. This is just what they see inside of the Discord. So for example, here, new call booked, who is it with? What's the name of the closer? For example, here, it was through email marketing on a day 6 email campaign. When is it for? Phone number, and how much money did they have to invest? Again, same thing here. Like, person, no showed their call, email, phone number, and then phone setter, it pings them. Let's try and rebook them as soon as possible. And then we have a thing for when people cancel that call. So name of the person you just canceled that call for, whatever time it is, and then we have the reason. And this person just didn't put a reason. All of these are essential. Obviously, we're still operating inside of a CRM, but it's just good for everybody to see inside of Discord, right? Then obviously we have end of day reports, nothing crazy here. For example, end of day report, summit, then closer and setters and dialers, they all have reminders within the Discord. And then we make them go very detailed on this. So, what are the KPIs? What were the main things? Like what happened with every single call? Like what was the problem? Why did they get closed? Why did they not get closed? For example, on the last call right here, this person went, or this closer went very, very deep on the actual process right here. Same thing here. So for example, with item funnel, we're not running ads yet, but we do have automations for the free funnel opt-ins and type form applications. So for example, here, free funnel opt-ins, we have this right here where, the phone setter can call them as soon as possible. Obviously we have it inside of a CRM. Like I said, like it just looks cool here. And then here, new type form application, name, email, phone number, and then we kind of speak a little bit more about, what they're at, just to keep everything in one place, right? And then here within the team chats, it's just team chats. So it's just, us speaking with each other. We have intro, sales talk, and then we have content talk, right? And then for example, here, I have my sales manager right here, and he just, sends longer messages every day, obviously does the calls with them, making sure that the entire sales team is just as dialed as possible. Another big thing is team culture. This is probably one of the biggest things that people kind of just overlook. And having a good team culture can literally just like 2 times your offer. And there's no specific framework for this. I don't know any specific frameworks for this. It just comes naturally when they know and think that they're in good hands and working with honest, hardworking people. And you need to build a team environment where people genuinely see this as friends or, I wouldn't even say associate. You can literally just make them to friends. And even our clients literally just, they send memes into the sales channels, and it just shows that they care about the actual people itself, the team, the mission, more about, the actual money, right? So the mission, you need to have the mission, core values, stuff like that. It's very important. Obviously, I'm not going to show this here, what we have for our team, but I just want to make sure that you guys know how important that kind of stuff is. And finally, at this point, we've managed to generate a ton of interested leads, but the entire funnel would fall apart without a killer sales process. So number one, we need to be very strict with our metrics. Every high ticket offer needs to have the right metrics in place so they know how many calls they need to book to hit their targets. And you can't afford to just freestyle this. So for example, for our clients specifically, we literally have a dashboard. I'm not going to leak all of the key performance indicators because obviously I don't know if competitors are watching this video, but here, we kind of just go over total calls booked, calls taken, offers made, deals closed, cash collected, revenue generated, cash per call, show rate, rescheduled, cancelled, Here we talk about the information of, the deals closed, revenue per day. This is like a little bit of a dashboard. So it just goes like this, like this, like this, like this. And then we have the target. So cash collected target, and then deals closed target. And that's pretty much it. There are a few pages on this dashboard, but those pages are actually live. I kind of just turned this page off real quick, just so you guys have a better understanding of what a dashboard looks like. And then we're feeding all of these leads with the right closer, with the right trading, and they have a pre-call sequence to actually get these leads onto the call to show up. So obviously, we have this right here. This warms them up a good chunk, but we still need to have other stuff happen before the call actually happens. So immediately they get pre-call assets, Q&A videos, call confirmation, SMS and email, and then they get a DM on Instagram immediately. Then 24 hours before the call, they get an unreleased, case study video plus call reminder. 12 hours before the call, cold outreach strategy. Sorry, not cold outreach strategy. This would be something else. I probably just kept this from a different Mario boot. Plus call reminder 6 hours before. It doesn't have to be a service delivery video. I'm messing this up. I just have the same call reminders for everybody. That's why I kind of just put this in here. Plus call reminder 1 hour before the call. No a sales script. That would be funny though. Plus call reminder 5 minutes before the call. Just a simple call reminder. They can't watch any more content. 5 minutes before the call, and then call started plus or call started reminder. That's pretty much everything. Obviously, there is other stuff that goes into this. It's just kind of just giving you the broad overview, and that's what we get to make the conversion. And like I said, there's a lot more that goes into scaling a coaching offer, but this entire video should just give you a broad understanding. This isn't everything, but it should give you a broad understanding. But one thing that I want you to take away from this is that every coaching offer has a different process and funnel. And yes, if you want to make a little bit of money, you can copy, the exact same strategies that I've showed you in this video and just implement them for yourself, or, strategies that you've seen what by, funnel breakdowns of bigger guys like breast scales, TGR trades, all of those bigger guys. But if you want to maximize your earning potential, you need a funnel that's tailored to your audience by, doing very specific market research with trial and error and just stuff that comes over time, right? So if you want me to help you implement everything that I've showed you in this video and build a funnel that's specific to your audience, and you're either, number one, a coach, creator, or influencer with an existing audience, or you're a person earning $10,000 a month and beyond and above, with no existing audience, but a good idea for a coaching business / info product, this is what my description looks like. First link in the description. Want me to start or scale your coaching business? Go here, click on this link right here. It's going to take you to this page right here. You can watch the explainer video how I can help you to scale to 50 to 100K a month and beyond with your coaching business. When you click here onto the next page, it's going to take you to my calendar. You can book in a call here. It's going to be directly with me, not some kind of, random weird closer. Directly with me. I'll give you a little bit of a coaching business audit, and then, if it makes sense, it makes sense. We can have a partnership, and if it doesn't make sense, I'm at least going to give you a bunch of value on that call so you can walk away from it better than you started, right? A lot better than you started, actually. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, till the YouTube algorithm stuff, and that's everything from me today. Have a good one, guys. Peace.